Hey everybody, it's Leanna, and I wanted to do a quick demonstration today on how you can come up with some perfectly sized photos when your project recipe or your simple page kit calls for a non-standard size. And by that, I mean they're not 4x6 or 5x7. Some of the more popular sizes that we'll see are 3.5 inch by 5.5 inch. Often we'll see square photos, 4x4 or 3.5 by 3.5 inch photos. And we can just use our photo trimmers to trim a 4x6 photo down, but sometimes that means you end up chopping off part of a photo, or maybe it's not perfectly centered. So what I really like to do is first crop and size the photo in Canva before I print it. And then I know that it'll be the perfect size. And once I printed it, I can cut it down with my photo trimmer. If you're on your computer or laptop, in your internet browser, you just go to canva.com. Now, everything I'm going to show you here today, you can do for free. I do have the premium, so sometimes you may see some extra options coming up, but this can all totally be done for free. So when you come into Canva, the first thing you're going to do is create a new project. And you can do that by clicking on one of these buttons. These are just kind of common, popular different types of projects that people do in Canvas. You've got social media, you've got a presentation, a label, a YouTube thumbnail. But what we want to do is create a custom size. So you'll look for this icon right here. It's a square box with two arrows across the top and on the right-hand side. Now, if you're not seeing these little icons, you can always go to this purple button where it says create. So it's a round purple circle with a plus sign on it. You can click on that. On the left-hand side, then you also have all those same common options. We're going to go ahead and select this one right here that says custom size. So once we click on that, it wants to know what size do you want this to be. It defaults to pixels or px, if you see for the units right here. So we're going to go ahead and click on that arrow to drop down the menu and change this to inches, because we know that we want a 6-inch by 4-inch photo size for printing. So I'm going to go over here to the little box under width and type 6. And then under height, I'm going to type 4. So I've got 6 by 4 inches. And I'm just going to say create new design. What I'm first going to show you is if you want to print two photos that are 3 by 4 inches, you can perfectly fit two 3 by 4 photos on your 4 by 6 paper. And this actually would help to save money, because you could do both photos on one piece of 4 by 6 photo paper. So the first thing then that we need to do is upload our photos. On this left-hand side, we have our menu of options here, and one of them says upload. So we're just going to go ahead, we're going to click on upload, and then if you already have files that you've uploaded, you're going to see them in this little box that comes up to the right of the menu. And if you don't have photos, or you need to upload your new photos, you just click on upload files. Now mine will automatically default to my download, and I'm going to go ahead and upload this photo, and I'm going to do two portrait photos. So I've uploaded one, and you'll see this little kind of blue water filling up the circle as it uploads. And then that stops once it's done, so you'll know it's done. And I'm going to take this first photo, just click on it, and you'll see that it placed it on my workspace over here, on my little design space. And what I'm going to do then is, if you just click on that photo, you'll be able to move it and drag it. So you want to left click and hold that mouse button down. We're going to drag this all the way up to the top left-hand corner. You'll see that when you have this selected, you have dots and bars, and you can hover over those and then click and hold down on the left mouse button and drag, and that will help resize it. And I'm just going to resize that right until it totally fills top to bottom. And then you'll see from left to right, it's taking up about half the page. So I've got 4 inches in height and then 3 inches across. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab a second photo, This is a photo of my husband. Again, I'm going to put this all the way to the top right-hand side this time. I'm going to come back down where that little white button is, and I'm going to drag this until it kind of hits the bottom. Okay, so now as you see, I have two photos. They're both 3 inches by 4 inches, totally filling up that page. I'm going to first give this a title and save it. So right here on this blue to purple bar that goes across the top, you'll see in kind of white letters, it says Untitled Design. I'm just going to click with my mouse on there and I'm going to say Glenstone and Richard. So I've just given it a name. I'm going to just do a file save over here. And again, you have this top menu bar. Just click on the file, click on save, make sure all my changes are saved. Now, in order to be able to print this, I need to first download it. So what I'm going to do on that top menu bar again, I'm going to click on this white share button. It's all the way to the right-hand side. I'm going to click on share, and this little menu pops up. You could copy a link. So if you wanted to share a link for somebody to view this photo you've just saved on your Canva account, you could do that. But what we're going to do is download. So I'm going to click on that little circle with the down arrow for download. And then it's going to ask file type, and mine defaults to PNG files, but my photo printer only recognizes JPEG. So I'm going to click on that box to get the drop down arrow, and then you see I can click on JPEG. So I'll click there. Size, you can tell it if you want it to be bigger or smaller. If I'm printing on 4x6, I just go with the default, the 1800 times 1200 pixels. But quality, if I'm going to print this, I usually will put that up to 100. And then I'm just going to click that purple button that says download. So this is going to allow me to print two 3x4 photos on one piece of 6x4 photo paper. This time I really want to print a 3.5 by 3.5 inch photo. And again, that's a very popular size that you will see on a lot of project recipes. It allows you to get a lot more photos on the page. What I'm going to do first is create a template that I can come back to and use over and over again. So in order to do that, I'm going to insert a frame in this 6x4 design space. So to insert a frame, I'm going to come to this left-hand menu on the side, and there's a little menu item called element. It has like little shapes on the icon. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then you should have frame as one of the options, where you have these little buttons across the top of this menu that's just popped up to the right. Now, if you don't see frame there, you can just type the word frame and it'll come up. Click on frame, and then you'll notice that you have these photo frames that come up. So you can actually put in different shaped frames. You could do circles. You'll see down here mock-ups. You could do a frame like a Polaroid frame. So lots of fun things that you could do. But what we're going to do is actually use a square frame. So I'm just going to drag and drop that on. And again, the frame has this kind of cloud, sky, and grass. So tells you that this is a photo frame. Now, what I want to do is to make sure that this is sized exactly the right size that I need it, which is 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch. So just like with those other photos, I can resize this by grabbing one of the circles on the corners, or I can reshape it by using that bar on the side. So you see how I can make it longer using that. Or if I use the corner circles, it moves the whole thing together. So once I put my arrow over that little circle and press down and start pulling, you're going to notice a little black box that comes up with the width and the height. So it says W2H2. So that means width is 2 inches, height is 2 inches. So I'm just going to keep dragging, holding down that left-hand mouse button and dragging until this says 3.5 height, 3.5 width. And voila, I have that. Okay, so now I could, if I needed to, just put this up into the top left corner, and that would leave as much space here as possible. And once I print this out, I'm only going to have to trim the right side and the bottom to get my perfectly sized 3.5 by 3.5 inch photo. I can also drag my frame so that I'm kind of centering it and leaving white space, an equal white space, and that's not equal, there we go, uh, around, there we go, the top left and right hand side. So if I, for example, wanted to print this photo, make it a 4x4 square with a perfect white mat, almost, it would look like a photo mat on it, I could do that. Okay, so now I've got this template set up and I can put a photo in this box. Before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and rename this 3.5 by 3.5 template. And again, you rename just in that top bar over towards the right. There's a space for you to type the name. Now I've got my template set up and I want to actually drop a photo into the frame. So I come back over to the left-hand menu, all the way to the left-hand side of the page, and I'm going to click on Uploads. Okay, so in Uploads, you'll see that I have lots of photos printed here. So I'm going to drag this photo over and just drop it on top of the frame. So you see how the photo went into the frame. Now, if I single click on this, I'm going to move the whole frame with the photo in it. But what I want to do is be able to reposition the photo because I want to get all of Jen's hat in that photo. So to do that, I'm going to double click on the picture. And you'll see how now you have the outline of the picture, and then you'll see here that where your frame is, it's darker. The photo is darker and it's a little more opaque. So that just shows you where the frame stops. And now what I'm going to do is click that left-hand button, hold it down, and I'm just going to move this photo down so it's centered in that frame. Okay, and then I'll just click off to the side, and now you'll see I have my photo the way I want it. So I can do the exact same thing. I can download this, and just to remind you how you do that, I'm first going to just save my changes, okay? And then I'm going to go to Share, and I'm going to click on, and that again is on the right-hand side. I'm going to click on Download. Then I'm going to select JPEG. Now, if your photo recognizes and prints PNG, you can leave that. Quality, I'm going to put up to 100 because I'm printing, and then I click download. So I'm all done. This is downloading, and then I can either upload it and share it to print on Creative Memories, Persnickety Prints, or another photo printer, or I can print it on my home computer. So you've seen how you can fit 2 different photos. We could go ahead and put another photo on this right-hand side, a small photo, if you were going to need a small photo. Sometimes what I like to do is include a text box if I want to do some journaling or create a title. I could do that. So let me just quickly show you how to do that. So we're going to go back again to this left-hand menu, and I'm going to click on text. And then once I click on text, this is the text menu. I could add a heading, add a subheading, but what I'm going to do is add a text box. Okay, so this text box comes up right in the middle of the page. Now, I don't want to type my text on top of my photo, although you could type and add titles or little comments right on top of the photo. It would print that way, and that would be fun. But I'm going to create a text box to print out. So I'm going to just hover my mouse over this little plus arrow here. And I'm going to drag that text box over to the right-hand side of the page. And then once you're ready, you can just click on it. Okay, and I'm just going to say, we took Roxy the dog to the Harriet Tubman National Park. While there, the park ranger swore Roxy in as a park ranger. So I have a nice little text box. I don't want it to be too close to the photo if perhaps you wanted to leave the white border around the photo. So you can just again, grab that kind of bar on the side and drag it to resize your text box. If I wanted to, I could reposition it on the page. I could select the text. I could go up here. I could make my font smaller. I could change the font. So if I click on the font, you'll see I could do handwriting one. So I'm going to select this standard handwriting font, but I think it needs to be bigger. So then I come back up to this top bar and I'm just going to make that bigger. Okay, so now I have a little text box here that would print out when I print out my page. I could cut it out and put it on the page with the photo. If you wanted, for example, to add a box behind this or a border around the side, you could do that. And the way that we would do that is to go back to this left-hand menu. I'm going to click on Elements. And then for this one, what I'm going to, instead of frames, I'm going to say shapes. And actually, I'm going to be more specific. I'm going to ask, just type in rectangle. Let me try this one with rounded corners on it. So I'm going to just place that over here. And then you see, once again, just like a photo, you have the circles on the corners, the bars on the side, where you can drag. So first, I'm just going to use the right-hand sidebar, and I'm going to drag this over, and then I'm going to drag it down to make it the size that I want. Okay, now that it's the size that I want, you'll notice in the top up here, this little circle has the same color as the background of my box. So you could change the color. You could click on that. You could make it white and then add a border. And that you just come next to the color wheel, you click on stroke style. So it's the lines just to the right of the color circle. Click on that. And now I've got a line that I could cut around and I would have a nicely framed text box. But I think what I want to do, I'm going to tell it no line, and then I'm going to go back over to the color. And what I want to do, you can select any color. You see you have all these different color palettes down here, but you also have this little pen, and you've got the box that has the color number, designated number here. And just to the right of that, you have a little pen icon. If you click on that, and then you've got this kind of bubble, you can go to the photo and pick out a color. So I'm going to go over the green on the certificate and click. And now you see my text box background matches the photo color. Now, one thing that could happen when you make your text box, you may make it and it may look like your text disappeared. And if that happens, what's happened, you want to click on this bar above your design space where it says position. If you click on that, and then this little menu pops out over here and it says layers. Click on layers, and you'll see that you have all the different elements that are on your page. So if I had a box like this, I'm not seeing my text, but I know it's there. And I look on elements and I see that the box is up higher on that list. All I have to do is left click on it, hold down and pull that box underneath the text box, and it'll switch the order that they're layered on the page, and now my text has come up. So once again, I'm just going to go ahead and save those changes, and then I can use the share button to download it and send it to my printer. Repetition is always good to remember things. So I'm actually going to go ahead and we're going to create one more, and this time we're going to do a 3.5 by 5.5 inch frame, and we're going to click on this hamburger menu over to the side, and I want to say create. So I've got that purple circle and plus button. I'm just going to click on that, and then I'm going to go back to custom size, and I'm going to use the 6 by 4 inch again. And then as a reminder, to put a photo frame on the page, you click on this elements menu option on that left-hand menu bar, and then you can click on frame if you see it, or you can type in frame if you don't see it. We're going to make this 5.5 inches wide. So again, I'm just going to pull on it until it says 5.5, and then we're going to go to 3.5 inches down. So just as a reminder, when you click and hold the bar or the circle, you get that black box that shows you the width. Then also go ahead and center that. And if you just click on your photo and move it, when it's in the center from left to right, you'll see a red line appear down the middle. That means it's centered. And when I move it up and down, as soon as I get it centered, I will get that center line horizontally across the photo. To add your photo, I'm just going to go to uploads, my friend Tracy and I. So I'm just going to drop that in, and you'll see that it's a perfect 3.5 by 5.5 photo. Remember to do a file save. So I'm actually going to delete this photo out. So when I click on this, I can go delete, and it's going to ask me, do you want to delete the image? So if I say delete the image, that frame remains, and I could add another photo. This time I'm going to go ahead and just delete not only the photo, but the frame. So again, I click on delete, and I'm going to say delete frame, and it all comes off. So I just wanted to show you one last really fun thing. I'm going to add this photo of me and my friend Tracy, which I love. But the one thing I don't love about it is we have this tree coming up between our heads. So a really fun feature that you can do in Canva is called BG remover. That's background remover. So I've clicked on my photo, so it's got the little selection circles and bars on it, and I'm going to click on BG remover. And there you go. It's removed that whole background. So you could print it out like this, and that really makes the kind of central part of your photo pop off with that white background. So you could save this, download it, and print it. Another really fun thing you can do is add a different background to your photo. So I'm going to go back here to the element menu option on the left-hand side, and I'm going to type background, but I'm going to type outdoor cafe. And then I get all of these little photos that are coming up over here, and you can click on see all. So again, I have Canva Pro, so you'll see some of these don't have Pro, sometimes they have Pro on them. So you may see different options, but there's this one right here that has these little twinkly lights going across. So what I'm going to do is drag that out. I'm going to set it on the page. Now this time I'm going to right click on that photo, and there's an option down here that's set image as background. Okay, so I'm going to select that. And what it's just done is given me this new background, which is less obtrusive and makes that photo really pop. So that's just another really fun thing you can do with Canva. I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration, and I hope this will make it easier for you to print photos for your simple page kits, your Creative Memory simple page kits, or for your project recipes. Thanks a lot. Bye.